Hey people that are interested in cats, the paranormal and things. So today I'm doing kind of animal content, but it's more on Halloweeny stuff on animals. So just since it's Halloween week, yes, excuse the voice. So I'm on to my third week with this, but I am on new medication, so I've got to give it some time to work. So yes, I do sound very, very congested. But anyway, I'm sure I will survive this video all the way through. So let's get on to the stories. Now I will show you some pictures or a little bit of footage of each animal that I'm basing the stories on, but obviously these stories are from, they could be fictional, they could be just stories that have been passed around. So yeah, just take some of these stories with a pinch of salt. But anyway, hope you enjoy it. Let's get on with it. I will try and show some pictures of the animals as I go along. I might have to use some old footage because some of the animals I wanted to take pictures of are asleep. So we'll start with this one. And this is on frogs. Hey, people want to talk to you. No? How are you? No? Seems they're asleep. The other one's there. And it's called The Frog Bride of Japan. Long ago, a lonely farmer saved a small green frog from the jaws of a snake. That night, he dreamt of a woman in a silk kimono who thanked him for his kindness. The next morning, she appeared at his door and became his wife. That was very quick. For years, they lived happily, but she always vanished whenever it rained. One stormy night, he followed her and found her kneeling at the edge of the pond. Lightning flashed, and she transformed into a giant frog, weeping softly. When she saw him, she cried, "You broke the spell!" and leapt into the water. They say a mournful croak still echoes through the reeds when storms roll across the fields. Fair enough. Now this is the Devil's Frogs of Somerset, England. In the misty wetlands of Somerset, people once whispered about the Devil's Frogs. After heavy rains, black frogs, the size of a man's fist, would appear around the old churchyard, croaking in eerie unison. A slow chant that sounded like, "Come, come." A frightened priest sprinkled holy water on them, but the frogs vanished in a hiss of sulphur-smelling stream or steam. That night, the church bell rang by itself, and the priest's well turned as it's black as pitch. To this day, locals say that if you see a frog on consecrated ground during a thunderstorm, the devil is near. Woo. The cursed frogs of the Amazon. In the depths of the rainforest, villagers tell of a tribe that angered a forest spirit. As punishment, their warriors were turned into frogs, doomed to sit on the riverbank and croak for eternity. They say if you catch one of these frogs and stare into its eyes under the full moon, you'll see the face of a man. Open mouth in a silent scream. And if you hear the frogs fall suddenly silent in the jungle at night, run. The spirits walk among them again, searching for those who mock its curse. The Phantom Frog of Louisiana. In the swamps of Louisiana, hunters tell of a ghostly white frog that appears on foggy nights. Its eyes glow red and it lets out a shriek instead of a croak. Those who try to shoot it find their bullets pass straight through, and within 3 days the hunting dogs go missing. Old Cajun tales say the phantom frog is the spirit of a greedy trapper who drowned his partner for gold, only to be swallowed by the bayou. Now he hops forever through the mist, cursed to haunt the swamp he once betrayed. The next stories are all on snake legends. Hello. Look at you. Flipping flies. And these are from around the world. Just gonna undo my new grace. The Serpent of Edenbridge, England. In the 1600s, villagers in Edenbridge claimed a monstrous snake haunted the marshes. Longer than a man's cart, and with eyes like burning coals, a farmer's son once shot at it, and the creature vanished into the fog with a blood-chilling scream. The next day, the boy was found stone cold, his body unmarked, except for 2 tiny punctures on his wrist. They say when mist covers the marsh and the frogs go quiet, you can still hear the hissing whisper, Eden's debt is never paid. The Naga of the Sacred Well, India. In an old temple village, there is a well said to be guarded by a Naga, a divine serpent spirit. A greedy merchant once tried to drain the well to find gold at its bottom. As he lowered his bucket, a colossal cobra rose from the water and struck him blind. For days he wandered, crying that he saw endless coils twisting around him. The villagers refilled the well, and ever since they leave milk offerings there at night. For those who forgot the Naga's warning are said to dream of drowning in serpents. The black snake of, if I can say this, Appalachians, USA. Miners in the Appalachians Mountains used to speak of a black snake that could move without sound, even through dry leaves. It was said to drink fire from lanterns and coil around sleeping men, whispering in their dreams. Those it wrapped around would wake with terrible fevers and visions of tunnels twisting endlessly underground. Some said it wasn't an animal at all, but the spirit of the earth, angry at men who dug too deep. To this day, when a mine collapses, locals say the black snake has claimed another trespasser. The Temple of the Bleeding Serpent, Mexico. Near the ruins of an ancient temple in the Yucatan, explorers in the 1800s found a carving of a serpent with obsidian eyes. One of them pried an eye loose to take home. Not a good thing. That night, he dreamed of the statue coming alive, its stone body dripping with blood. When he woke, the obsidian gem was gone, and a trail of blood led from his bed to the doorway. His body was never found. Local guides say the serpent still watches over its stolen treasure, and that sometimes, if you look too long into its eyes, they blink. The next one is about creatures I don't own. Oh, hang on. The cats. Hi, Evie. Evie. Shh, shh, shh. Hi, Evie. Good girl.
Come on, cats. Come on. Come on. Come on, Terry.
the cat scythe of Scotland. In the Highlands, people once feared the cat scythe, a huge black cat with a white patch on its chest that prowled graveyards on Samhain night. It was said to steal the souls of the dead before they could reach heaven. To protect the departed, villagers held Thalai Fadarak, the late wake, an all-night vigil to keep the cat scythe away. If it was seen circling a house, it meant someone inside would die before morning. So much for it being legends of black dogs. Even now, some say on Halloween, if you leave out a saucer of milk, the cat scythe will pass you by. But if you forget, you'll hear scratching out your door. I hear that every night, so what's new? The Demon Cat of Washington, D.C., USA. Guards at the USA Capitol claim that deep in the tunnels lives a phantom cat. Black as soot, with glowing eyes, it appears before great tragedy. Seen before Lincoln's assassination, before the 1929 stock market crash, and again before JFK's death. When it first appears, it looks like a normal cat. But as it approaches, it swells to the size of a lion. Its eyes burning red before vanishing in a puff of smoke. They call it the Demon Cat of DC, and if it looks you in the eye, it means disaster is coming. The Wampus Cat, Appalachia, USA. According to Cherokee legend, a woman once spied on a sacred ceremony wearing the hide of a mountain cat. The spirits caught her and cursed her to remain half woman and half cat forever. Now she roams the forests, glowing eyes cutting through the trees, her scream half human, half beast. Hunters say she appears before storms or tragedy, a warning to those who trespass in the sacred places. Sometimes her prints are found near campsites, only they begin as human footprints and end as paw prints. The Witch's Familiar, Europe. In the witches' trials, Middle Ages, black cats were feared as witches' companions, or worse, demons in disguise. One story tells of a cat burned during an exorcism in Lincolnshire. When it screamed, every candle in the church went out at once. The next morning, the priest was found dead, claw marks around his face, but no sign of the cat. Villagers claimed it was still prowled the churchyard at night, eyes glowing green, meowing softly at locked doors, waiting for another soul to take. What? You joining in, are you? Right. This is Spooky Spiders Legends from Around the World. Now, hopefully I don't butcher this word, but I'll try. The Georgigomo, Japan. In the forest near waterfalls, people tell of the Georgigomo, the blinding bride. She appears as a beautiful woman who lures wandering men to her home. There, her silken kimono begins to shimmer, and the man realizes too late that it's made of web. As he struggles, to change his shape, revealing a true form. Giant golden spider with a woman's face. When villagers hear strange music drifting from the forest, they say it's a George Gomo playing a shamanism woven from the hair of her victims. The Curse of Anansi Web, West Africa. The trickster god Anansi, half man and half spider, once wove a web so perfect it connected heaven and earth. But he used it to steal secrets from the gods. In punishment, the web was burned, and Anansi was cast down to live among men. They say he still spins his web in the corners of homes, listening, whispering stories and tempting people to lies. If you dream of a spider crawling across your chest, it means Anansi has visited you, and you'll soon be caught in a web of deceit. The Widow of the Well, Romania. In a remote Carpathian village, there's an old well that locals refuse to use. Long ago, a widow wept there every night after her husband was taken by the war. One morning, she was found gone, and the web was filled with thick black cobwebs. Ever since, anyone who draws water from it finds a single spider floating on the surface. Those who touch it are said to see visions of the widow, pale and veiled, crawling through the darkness, whispering, "He's never coming back, so neither will you." The spider priestesses of the Andes, South America. High in the Andes, explorers discovered carvings of a half woman and half spider deity, known to the Nazca as the Weaver of Souls. Legend says she guards the boundary between life and death, spinning threads that connect the living to the dead. When the wind howls through the mountains, locals claim it's her spinning loom. And sometimes travelers who sleep outdoors wake covered in delicate webs, each one shaped like a symbol or face. If you brush it off before sunrise, they'll say your spirit becomes trapped in a tapestry forever. Now this one is Spooky Praying Mantis Legends. The deaf mantis of South Africa. In Zulu folklore, a giant praying mantis called Lajanji is a messenger of death. Villagers claim that if a mantis lands on your windowsill, someone in the household will die within the week. Hunters tell of seeing the mantis standing perfectly still, staring within with black, unblinking eyes. When they approached it, vanished, leaving only a trail of silk that smelled faintly of iron. The Spirit Weaver of Madagascar. In Madagascar, the mantis is thought to be a guardian spirit that can see the unseen. One tale tells of a man who ignored a mantis crawling on his bed. That night, he dreamt of a skeletal figure wrapped in silk threads. When he awoke, his room was empty, but the mantis was gone, leaving behind tiny silken shapes resembling human faces. Locals believe these are warnings those ignored are being woven into the spirit world. The Killer Bride, China. A Chinese legend says that long ago, a woman turned into a giant mantis after being jilted at the altar. The victims were men wandering alone in bamboo forest. The mantis would appear first as a beautiful bride, luring them in before revealing her true spine form. She would strike silently, and those who survived were said to be cursed, never find love again. Some farmers claim that even today, bamboo grows paint. Rare mantis of death, ancient Greeks. Ancient Greeks considered mantises prophets of doom. One appeared indoors with a warning of impending death or of betrayal. A famous story tells of a soldier who saw a mantis crawling across his door the night before a battle. He ignored it, thinking it was harmless. And the next day, his unit was ambushed, leaving him as the sole survivor. Since then, Greeks called them manticoli, little prophets of fate. Freaky. Now, these are just stories on bearded dragons and gecko legends. The bearded dragon of outback Australia. In Aboriginal mythology, the bearded dragon is sometimes seen as a guardian of hidden waterholes in the desert. One legend tells of a lost traveller who drank from the wrong pond. A massive bearded dragon appeared, its eyes glowing in the moonlight. The traveller was frozen in place. Sorry, that was a bad example. Hearing whispers in an ancient language. When he awoke, the dragon was gone. But the pool had vanished too, leaving only dry sand. Locals say that at night, if you hear the scraping of claws on rocks, the guardian is watching. The Gecko Witch, Southeast Asia. In some parts of Indonesia, geckos are believed to be witches' familiars. Story tells of a gecko that lived in the rafters of a village home. Every night it would tap against the beams. Like this. Perhaps. And any family member who heard it 3 times before sleep would have a nightmare of being swallowed by a monstrous serpent. Those who ignored it often woke with small, unexplained scratches on their hands or feet. It's better than being swallowed down whole. Villagers say the gecko disappears at dawn, leaving a faint scent of incense in its wake. The fire-eyed bearded dragon, Australia. Aboriginal lore also tells of a bearded dragon that appears only during bushfires. It is said to be a spirit sent to warn of approaching flames. Travellers who see it glowing red in the smoke are said to be marked for survival. But those who look away, thinking it's just a lizard, may never escape the fire. Some bushmen swear they've seen it leap from tree to tree, eyes burning like embers, silently watching them. The gecko of the shadows, Polynesia. The Polynesian islands, geckos are believed to be shapeshifters that can steal a person's shadow. One legend tells of a man who caught a gecko and brought it inside. That night he awoke to find his shadow stretched and twisted. creeping along the walls. Indifferently of him, the gecko vanished at dawn, leaving him pale and weak. Locals warn, never keep a gecko indoors unless you want your shadow to wander alone. Perhaps meet a fate worse than death. So what do you think of those stories? I hope you enjoyed them. I surely did anyway. So yeah, we'll have more animal content next week, but obviously it'll be after Halloween. I was meant to be doing a ghost hunt, but obviously with the way I am at the moment, it's a no-no, because it's going to be in a house of a vulnerable person, and with me being so ill, I don't really want to make them ill too. So it's not fun. I'm not sharing this with anybody. I'm just keeping away from everybody, so they can't say that I passed on this cold that's going on and my really bad voice. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share and subscribe, and thank you for watching. Bye.